Hello and welcome to Talking Good Games. Just finished West Ham 1, Arsenal 0. And Charlie, let's talk about the first half in general. There wasn't too much chances from either side, no clear-cut ones. But were you happy with what you saw for the first 45 minutes?
I was, yeah. I thought we were actually the better team. They created some good chances, but some typical Arsenal chances as well. The way they go, when they go forward, they sort of get that nice passing play, nice manoeuvres. But we were, if equaling and possibly outdoing them at times, when we had Nasri, Arnautovic, Anderson, even Noble getting involved in that sort of like connection in the front three. It was really, really genuinely dangerous, and we created some very, very good chances because of it.
Some of those that pass in the first half was fantastic to watch. And Nasri and Anderson in particular, like you said, with Creswell, Noble and Arnautovic joining in. The little triangles, there was one touch flicks and stuff as well. It wasn't proper passing, it was just a delicate touches outside the boot, enough to use the other person's pace of the pass, but enough to change direction and stuff. And I thought we was brilliant going forward. I thought Arsenal had their chance as well, but defensively we looked solid in the first 45 minutes. Got Rice, there was a couple of times he made interceptions that you have to sort of think, how's he got there? Diop as well was brilliant. Bon, as much as I criticised him, was looking good in the first half. And Antonio was doing his usual powerful self. There's a couple of runs he made that he would sprint past a third of the players on the pitch, including our own ones. It got to the point that he was actually so far ahead of play that no one was able to keep up with him and get in the box. And we were just, from the off, we'd been starting sloppy in the last few games. We've been a bit poor from the word go, and it's taken us until half time to wake up. But today, from the first whistle, I thought we were on it. We had a game plan. You could see what the game plan was. It was brilliant. But just after half-time, Charlie's first ever goal for West Ham, and I mean, if there's a guy you want to score for West Ham, it's Declan Rice. But Nasri, a nice little layup by Nasri, Declan Rice bends into the top corner. 1-0, deserved 1-0, but fantastic finish as well.
Yeah, really calm, really composed as well. You'd expect someone in that position when they're looking for their first ever West Ham goal, their first ever senior goal, who's also a defensive player, to maybe, you know, sky it like other players I'm not going to mention constantly do, Antonio. But it was a really, really good finish, and you can tell from his celebration just how much it actually means to him, how much that meant to the crowd, and how much just living in that moment as he sprang towards it and everyone losing their minds is something that he is going to remember for the rest of his career, and let's be honest, probably the rest of us will as well. I mean, it was a great moment and a deserved lead, as you said.
As I was saying, you only get your professional players only score their first ever goal in professional football once, but not only is it this guy's first goal, but it's the way, he's been so good this season. He's sort of, without being brought up at West Ham's academy like Noble, he's sort of become like an adopted Mr. West Ham, if you like. He really has sort of come into that, and when he scored, everybody was not just celebrating the fact there's 1-0 West Ham, people were celebrating the Declan Rice score, because people around me were like, you know, were looking at each other going, Rice has scored, it's Rice, you know, everyone was so happy for him. It was also good to see Nasri. I watched the replay at the end of the game coming up the stairs when the music was on and that full time, the highlights were on, and you could see Rice's goal. But as soon as Rice scores it, you can see Nasri turn and start running with the celebration as well. It's against his former club as well, so it's always there's awkward things. Does he celebrate? Does he not? Now, he didn't score, but it's good to see him actually getting involved as well. Like you said, a celebration for Declan Rice, but the crowd as well. That was one of the loudest I've ever heard that guy, and you could tell it was Declan Rice that scored. There was a little bit extra in that celebration. It was a deserved lead for us, though. I thought we deserved well. From then on, though, it was all about, it was a game of chess, if you like, between Pellegrini and Emery, I thought, because there wasn't too much between them. But I don't think either keeper had a save to really make for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and everything they had to do, they did very calmly and coolly, and I think that's because nothing was really too pressurised. We didn't really put Leno under huge amounts of stress after that, and then a lot of what Fabianski ended up doing was just collecting balls after sort of those shots where they sort of roll on the ground. And it sort of went that way, but as we got into the later stages, despite the fact that was all that had happened, it was nerve-wracking, incredibly nerve-wracking.
I thought some of the Arsenal players, I felt, lost their composure for the last 20 minutes or so. I think Lacazette had his moment where he had a little kick out at Zabaleta and stuff, and you just felt like, without playing dirty, we managed to get under their skin a little bit today, you know, and they sort of struggled. Any half chances they had, we dealt with pretty comfortably, and they were struggling to string anything together, Arsenal. I mean, we weren't great. We were, like, going forward, there was nothing wrong with what we were doing. Arsenal were just defending well against us and stuff. But I thought it was a very even game. It was a good game of football, and I think we need to remember that we've just played Arsenal today, who they're not a poor side. It wouldn't surprise me they finished fourth in the Champions League this season. So it's a big result for us. I thought was finished 1-0 obviously, but I thought this was one of the best performances I've seen from West Ham in a long time. from start to finish, we did nothing wrong. No player made any error, as far as I can remember. We didn't do anything wrong. Everybody was 7 out of 10 at least. Pellegrini's substitutions were spot on, every single one of them, getting Nasri off. He's done his time. And Arnautovic went off. Now we have to talk about this. Did it look like a goodbye to you? Because Arnautovic went off and he turned around and put both hands in the air type thing, and everyone around us was clapping him. A couple of people booed, said some words towards him, and then he did his goodbye thing. And then all of a sudden the atmosphere got a bit strange around me because everybody's seen him and went, oh, yeah. Is that a goodbye? What's going on here? Did you see that as a goodbye? Or
I didn't personally, but everyone around me did as well. It's that moment where he turns around and starts clapping. Everyone all of a sudden goes, oh. But for me, I think it was more the way I read into it. But again, this is purely, everyone's going to read into it different ways. For me, it was him essentially thanking everyone for supporting him as opposed to booing him. Because it would have been very easy at the beginning of a game when the numbers are being read out and they go, number 7, Marko Arnautovic, for everyone to boo. But if anything, that was a bigger cheer than there normally was. And I think for me, it came across as him saying, thank you for supporting me, thank you for not booing me, thank you for giving me that, as opposed to a goodbye. But it's very, very easy to be read as a goodbye, but I guess this week will tell.
It's a very strange gesture to do, even to say thank you. There's lots of other ways you can do it and stuff, and you could look at it as an apologetic one as well, as if to say apologies for what my brother's been saying or something in the press the last couple of weeks or something. You can look at it in many ways. I just thought it was possibly, if he has good intentions, fair enough, but it's possibly a naive thing to do. If you're meant to have good intentions, you should. It's going to be a talking point, unfortunately. It wasn't. I think it was possibly not necessary, but we won the game. What do you make of the performance overall and stuff?
I thought it was brilliant. I like you said, I think it's one of our better performances this season. I think it's possibly our most complete performance this year as well. I think going forward, when we had those people together and in good situations, they were creating chances and creating excellent opportunities for each other that we've seen a couple of times this season, but with real class and with real skill. And then defensively, again, we were very, very solid. There were times where Arsenal would pass the ball around us and get through us, but they had Aubameyang, Lacazette and Iwobi in those positions who are very, very good footballers, and better teams than us will struggle to stop them from getting through. I think defensively we were just as good as we were going forward, and then some of the standout performances were some of the best we've seen this season, I think.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, our ball of attention as well for the last half hour was important. We didn't keep 80% possession or anything stupid. It was Arsenal we were playing, but when we needed to just calm it down a little bit, we did. There was no boot it long and just it keeps coming back at you. When Obiang came on, I thought he did well actually, adding that extra passing person into the middle of the pitch and stuff, because Zabaleta was using them, they were all using each other. When we had the ball at the back, instead of just booting it, just give it to your centre midfielder and let him pass out. I thought we were fantastic today. We really, really were. I can't put enough plaudits on the players, really. We didn't create loads, but I think that's more credit to Arsenal than a criticism of West Ham. I don't think we did anything wrong. We did our best going forward, and just the first half. So I thought that Nasri and Anderson's link-up was brilliant. But individual performances, I guess, I mean, there's plenty to choose from, so take your pick. You just mentioned 2 already. I think Anderson played very well, and when there were criticisms around me of him showing too much of the ball to Arsenal, but I think when he does that and then skips past them, it looks even better. It's even more incredible. I think Nasri had a very, very good game. I wasn't as convinced as you and some of the other people were in his last performance. I thought he looked okay, there was promising signs, but I think for me I needed something more. Today was that something more. He's not particularly quick, I don't think he's rapid, but he has that intelligence and that class where he gets in those attacking positions. When he gets in those advanced positions, you believe something can happen. And in the way you used to see those goals with him and Jack Wilshere and all these other people at Arsenal where there'd be this nice intricate passing right on the edge of the area to get through, he's bringing that. There's some deft touches, some deft passes that were really, really good. Outside of that, I think Antonio played well despite not being able to hit a banjo over a barn door. Do you know what I mean? He gets into such good positions, and when we have all of those other people, that creates so much space for them. And that was the thing we always said about Payet and Lanzini, was one created space for the other just because people get drawn to them. And it's that similar thing. He might not be the greatest finisher or whatever, and he might not have that end product, but him just being in those positions gives Arsenal something else to think about. And then Declan Rice he was fantastic. He just really was fantastic. Man of the match deservedly, I think, from the thing, because he just played so well. 3 pairs for me. The first one's the centre backs. Thought they were brilliant. O'Bonnell's got a lot of criticism from people on us on this channel, and there's something I stand by that. I think he's been right to criticise him, but I thought today, he coped with everything he got thrown at him a little bit. I thought Diop looked good. They had a lot to deal with today. Let's not forget they're up against 2 you know, Aubameyang's a world-class striker. Lacazette can be certainly the next level down. He's an elite striker. If you very like, they were up against one of the best partnerships in the Premier. If everyone played the first two choice strikers in the league, you'd be hard pressed to find a better pairing than them two. Even Man City, I think I'd rather have Aubameyang and Lacazette over Aguero and Jesus, for example. So I think as a partnership, them two are just unbelievable up front. I can't remember if Fabianski been troubled by either of them. You know, credit to our centre back. Then it goes into the centre of our midfield. I thought Noble and Rice were brilliant today. They controlled it left to right. They were always available. Often Arsenal would clear it. One of them was there to get it and give it back to Creswell or Nasri and say, go again and keep going. That's the thing. Arsenal couldn't get rid of us in the first half. Every time they cleared it, one of those two were giving it back and have another wave of attack. And they were pivotal today. The pair of them. I thought they were just brilliant. You know, when Obiang come on, it sort of really snowballs shackles a little bit. And while he's not glamorous going forward, what he does do is he chases every single ball. And the amount of times Arsenal was going from centre back to centre back, and no ball was just run, and he goes back to the keeper and just adds a few seconds to the clock and makes the pass to Aubameyang a long one instead of on the deck to his feet and stuff. And it was just brilliant. And then Nasri and Anderson in the first half especially, the link up is unbelievable between those two. It's the way Nasri is comfortable with the ball on the edge of the other team's 18-yarder. He doesn't panic. He doesn't think, I need to shoot. Once he's there, he's happy to hold the defender off and bring others into play. And there was a couple of times, I think it was in the first 5 minutes actually, Antonio had it. He gave it to Nasri, to Navic, and Noble took a shot with his left foot. Now it was a weak shot, etc. But the passing was something I've not seen at West Ham in years. It's just unbelievable stuff. I'm delighted, as you can probably tell, with that performance today. It was just fantastic. Good plus signs all over the pitch. The only one thing we need to work on for the next game is Anderson needs to do something with his corners, because his corners need a Viagra or something to help him get them up, because first man. The one day we've got Snodgrass on the bench, we get about 10 corners and we can't do anything with them. But saying that, our goal came from a corner, I think. Declan Rice's one, so swings and roundabouts, isn't it? But an obvious answer. Who's your man of match? But also, who's your second choice man of match? Because it's getting a bit easy now.
I think to replicate what you said about Nasri, about being comfortable on the edge of the area, it's the exact opposite of my man of the match, Declan Rice. On the other side, he's just comfortable in front of our box, and he has this composure when he has the ball. Torreira, Aubameyang, all these players could be pushing him, and he just somehow gets away with the ball as if it was nothing and just lays a pass off in the most casual of manners. And that's an incredible thing for someone at such a young age. And he is obviously man of the match for me. But second would probably be Noble. I think Noble was great. And even towards the end of the game, where it was the last that last goal kick from Fabianski, Noble ran across to him and was given instructions. He was like, okay, do this. Fabianski's taking instructions from him. Then he goes and he shouts at the rest of the team and tells them what to do. And it's that leadership that misses every time we're not there. I think, although we have ample second captains in someone like Zabaleta and people like that, there's just this, he just brings this extra element. And then the moment when Rice scored and him and Noble sort of had this embrace, it was like, oh yeah. I like West Ham sometimes. It's really good. But yeah, they're the two for me.
Rice is obviously man of the match. Second, I'm going to give it to Nasri. For a guy who's not played for 18 months, you wouldn't think it. This is now his third appearance. It's his third. Well, is it? It's his second one. Is it third one? Second. He played Birmingham. He was on the bench against Brighton, but didn't come on.
That's it. Yeah.
So it's his third squad role, if you like. But it's his second appearance for us. His first start. And well, no, he started against Birmingham as well. Yeah, ignore that. It's his second start.
The point is, he played well.
Yeah, the point is, for 18 months out the game, you wouldn't think it. He was brilliant. He's obviously worked hard in training before he got his contract and stuff. He's fitted into that team like he's been a part of the squad since August. But today he makes a difference. It's just defenders are scared of Nasri, I think. When he gets the ball, two of them have to go either side of him, and he's capable of getting out of those situations. He's got a vision. He's almost like he's got eyes in the back of his head sometimes. Before he gets the ball, he knows what he wants to do with it. He knows where people are. He's happy to point to spaces to say to Creswell, get there, waits for Creswell to go there, then moves away and lets the defender think that he's ready to give it to Creswell. He's a fantastic player to watch. I think we're going to really enjoy Nasri in a West Ham shirt, and I'll be very surprised if we don't take up that 2-year option. But the only thing I just want to say is, what a lovely day it's been. The game. That atmosphere, the London Stadium gets a lot because I don't think the atmosphere was as good as it could have been after beating Arsenal 1-0. It wasn't rocking or anything, but it was enjoyable. And like you said, the last 5-10 minutes of the game was a bit nervous. We were sitting back naturally, but we held out. And what a relief it was to win the game and coming out the ground with the music on, everybody singing to Jeff Beck, etc. It's just a fantastic day. But anyway, that's been Charlie, I've been Geo, been in Ham's chat. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it, leave your comments below, let us know who you think is your second choice man of the match, because we all know who your first choice is. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and we'll be back very soon.